Do you crave exciting sports takes and news? Fed up with the same old boring voices you hear on the radio? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you just might be a Tbloomaholic. Lucky for you, it's time for another episode of the Tbloom Talk Show, the #1 sports podcast in the world. Settle in, my Tbloomanites, because another episode starts right now. Live from Tbloom headquarters, here's your host, Tbloom.
Now we ready? All right, welcome back, nation, to another episode of the Tbloom Talk Show. I'm your host, Tbloom. We're here on a Monday night. The AFC Championship and NFC Championship game was last night. We're going to go ahead and obviously touch base on that and different things that I know went wrong in that game for both sides. And we will also touch on a little bit of Drake May versus Matthew Stafford and who really deserves the MVP this year. And we'll go through all that and much, much more. I don't want to take up a lot of your time today, guys, because I know how it is. Monday after the NFC, AFC championships, you got to start getting back into that rhythm of no football on Sunday. And when you wake up on Monday and you don't have that thing to look forward to on Sunday, you know what I mean? It's like a fan on your bye week. It kind of just sucks. You know, you have to go all week without seeing your team play, and it can just wear on you over time, and it does throughout the offseason. So I call this Doom Monday when it all sets in that, hey, there's one more game left, and if you're not a Seahawks fan or Patriot fan, it's not that sweet, unless they're your second favorite team. But who the fuck has those? Anyway, let's just dive into what exactly happened yesterday in the AFC Championship. New England would win 10-7. Overall, I think this was a very, very fun game to watch as a fan. Obviously, if you're a Bronco fan, you would say different, but I think just from a fanship perspective, this game offered everything that AFC football is about. Snowy weather, cold, grind it out, defensive mentality kind of football. I mean, this was not a flashy game by any means, but this was a hard-nosed, it's going to come down to the both defenses who wants it more kind of game. And in the end, it ended up being the New England Patriots, unfortunately. But it was a very, very cool game. It was fun to see the snow. The snow really actually made an effect on the game. I think that was a big reason why the Broncos lost, specifically because, going to my first point, Sean Payton, the whole going for it on fourth down with 9 minutes and 28 seconds left in the second quarter, when you're already up a touchdown and you're already starting to back up QB, going against a terrific defense in the New England Patriots, for you not to kick that field goal and go for it, to me is just, obviously this is speaking in hindsight, but it's just absolutely greedy. Like, you need to get up 2 possessions on this team fast. Because in the end, it came down to bite them in the ass. By the fourth quarter, it didn't matter. Both teams weren't moving the ball very well. It's not like the Patriots had any more advantage on offense. They just happened to be up 3. And they just happened to be able to wear and tear you on the ground, and eventually clocks run out. Time's up, over, blow. I mean, it's elementary stuff. I mean, you have to take the points whenever you can get them. And obviously in this new day and age, Dan Campbell started it off. Mr. Campbell. That's a tough thing. Gamble Campbell. That's a tongue twister. Gamblin' started off with this whole, hey, let's go for it on fourth down. Let's go with the stats. Stats say it's 4th and 4. Guess what? Stats say go for it. And this whole mentality's kind of carried over, and for a little bit it was looking like this is the new way of playing. This is the new direction the NFL should go with all the success that it's coming with. But you also see, you live by the go for it and you die by the go for it. And Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos absolutely died by going for it on fourth down. Much like the Seahawks game. We'll get into the NFC Championship game right now. Seahawks versus Rams. Rams would lose 31-27. Okay? Rams played a tremendous game. Pretty much as good of a game as you could really play if you're the Los Angeles Rams on offense. You muffed a punt in the third quarter, and you were still able to come back and have the ball on the goal line with 4 minutes and 59 seconds left with a chance to take the lead. But just because you can take the lead doesn't mean you should. 4 minutes and 59 seconds left, fourth down. I believe it was a 4th and 4. And they don't get it. And not only did they not get it, but they didn't go to any of their top receivers, Devontae Adams or Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua was double teamed, sure, but Devontae Adams wasn't. I mean, that's your bread and butter right there. Matthew Stafford would throw a pass that had absolutely no chance, had a better chance getting picked off by the defender than it did his own tight end. So, obviously, this is all in hindsight, but I was saying it before they even went for it. Brandon Child, Justin Child, they can all vouch for me. We were all saying it. Take the points. 27-31. You're on the road. 4th and 4. Just take the points. Go 30-31. If they go down and score a touchdown, well, hey, you're going to have to score another touchdown anyway. Just take the points. You get the ball back, all you need is a field goal, and you're out of that stadium. Out of that stadium with the win, heading into the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Both these games, the stories can be told by one thing. Coaches getting greedy and not taking the points. Will this be a shift in the NFL coming back to what originally was the norm, which was to take the points when you can, as opposed to going for what the numbers say, what AI says? Only AI I listen to is the Hooper. I don't listen to that AI artificial. No. I don't even eat high fructose corn syrup. Nothing artificial in me. Exaggerating, but you guys see my point. Both these two games can be told by one thing. Two coaches got greedy. Now we have two teams in the Super Bowl that ended up being worst case scenario, especially for us Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Well, for us Steelers fans, it sucks because, well, the Patriots have a chance to win another Super Bowl, which would then surpass us with 7 Super Bowls, bumping us down to the second or third best franchise, depending on if you want to include Tom Brady in the greatest franchises of all time. He's obviously got 7. He's number 1. But that's up for debate if you can include him. But we'll just take him out for a second. Patriots win. We're bumped down to number 2 with 6. Patriots have 7. You get the idea. Not ideal. Not ideal for us Steelers fans. And it makes it worse if you're a Steeler fan that grew up in Washington. I know what you're saying. Tanner, you grew up in Washington. It should be a really easy decision for who you're rooting for in the Super Bowl. You're a Steeler fan. Patriots get 7. You're second. Boom. Point blank done. You obviously are a Seahawks fan. It's not that easy. Not so fast. It's not that easy. Growing up in Washington, you see Seahawks fans come and you see Seahawks fans go. And you don't see them when the Seahawks aren't very relevant in the NFL. Now let me make this perfectly clear. My beef isn't with the Seahawks players themselves. I have no problem with Sam Darnold. No problem with any of the defensive players. No problem with the coaches. None of that. My problem with Seattle lies on the fans. You guys ever heard of a roller coaster? When things are high, everybody's screaming. When things get low, I guess everybody's still screaming. That's a bad analogy. But Seahawks fans, they're the biggest bandwagons in the whole country. Maybe it's just because I grew up here. I don't know how it is for other teams in other states when the team gets good, but you don't see very many Seahawks fans when Geno Smith was out there playing QB. You didn't see very many Seahawks fans before Russell Wilson came in and they had, Tavares Jackson play QB. But when Sam Darnold's, really being a good quarterback and making this team better and they're going to the Super Bowl, all of a sudden everybody's a Seahawks fan. And I'm not talking about the diehards here, guys. If you're a diehard, you know who you are. You shouldn't even take offense to this. I'm talking about the people who don't even know how to pronounce certain players' names, who don't even understand how to say Jackson Smith-Njigba. They don't even say JSN. They just call him, what's his name? Smith? And they stutter, and you can tell they just don't know what they're talking about. Or when they're trying to say that this defense is better than the Legion of Boom. Just making absolutely irrational statements because they don't know what they're talking about. But these people like to arise and take credit as if they've been a fan this whole time, to take credit for what it means to be a fan and to stick it out through hard times. No, they just arise. They come out of the depths of hell. These same Seahawks fans that are going to be there, Not all of you, obviously, disclaimer, not all of you. Diehards, you know who you are. But there's going to be Seahawks fans out there that were Philadelphia Eagles fans last year. And there's going to be a few of them sprinkled in that were Chiefs fans. And a few of them are going to be sprinkled in that were Lions fans the year before and Commanders fans. These guys have no loyalty. No loyalty. And I, as a diehard Steeler fan, have to try and defend myself and my team against people who don't even show up for their team when things are bad. It annoys me. And for that reason, it's hard for me to sit back and root for the Seahawks to win a Super Bowl when I don't feel like their fanhood deserves it. Maybe the diehards, sure, but sorry, there's too many non-diehards for me to even care. So when you tell me, hey, Tbloom, it should be a very, very easy decision on who you should root for in the Super Bowl, it's not. But I'll tell you this, I'll be rooting for one team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. What the fuck does that mean, Tbloom? The Steelers aren't even fucking playing. What the hell is this guy's problem? I'll be rooting for the Steelers to maintain their number one status with 6 Super Bowls tied with the New England Patriots. So if that means the Seahawks have to win, so be it. But that doesn't mean I'm rooting for the Seahawks. I'm rooting for the Steelers to maintain their position at number 1 with the New England Patriots. And that's all I have to say about that. Now I want to move into an even bigger topic, an even crazier topic than some might even consider. Who's the MVP? Who is it? Is it Drake May? Is it Matthew Stafford? That's who it's coming down to. Really hoping we could see that matchup in the Super Bowl, which, by the way, if it did come down to that in the Super Bowl, we should just make the MVP whoever won that game. Hot take, but let me just get off that topic. But Drake May versus Matthew Stafford. Now, I find this question very interesting because coming into this weekend, I thought it was a very, very easy choice, Matthew Stafford. And when you take a look at the stats, he checks off all the boxes. Most passing yards, more TDs. They have the same amount of interceptions with 8. So just based on the most basic passing principles, more yards, more TDs, same amount of interceptions. Matthew Stafford should have it, right? They both have very similar running game totals. So they both have help with the running game. And you could argue, hey, Drake May, he's not just a thrower, he's a dual threat quarterback, and he is, and I respect that. He's got about 400-something rushing yards off the top of my head, and I believe he has 4 rushing TDs, 4 to 5 rushing TDs. I would argue he also has 6 fumbles lost, so that's an extra 6 turnovers that aren't necessarily due to him scrambling, but that's 6 more turnovers than Matthew Stafford had. Which, by the way, let me make sure I have this right. Let me make sure Matthew Stafford hasn't fumbled the ball. Any fumbles lost? Let me just see. Stafford. Oh, Stafford has 3 fumbles lost. So he doesn't have as many fumbles lost as Drake May. But Drake May still has 6 fumbles lost. So based on the stats, I still think you give it to Matt Stafford. You get my point. But my buddy, Patriot fan, of course. He's been on the show. Justin Child, you remember him? Chris, you remember him? He asked us 2 questions. Me, my buddy, 2 of my buddies, Brandon and Drew. He asked us 2 questions about the MVP race and gave a very, very interesting perspective on it. He asked us 1. Would Drake May be as successful on the Rams team if he were to be the quarterback? Thinking about it, I mean, more or less, yeah, I don't think there'd be much of a drop-off. I think even adding in the potential running that Drake May is, I think adding that in could even boost him a little bit. Not by much, because you have to take into account Matthew Stafford makes some really great throws and really great reads, so I think they'd counteract. But I don't think it would be much of a drop-off at all, if any. Then he asked us the second question. would the Patriots be where they are today offensively if Matthew Stafford were to be their quarterback? And no, I don't think they would. I don't think the Patriots would be in the same position they are offensively if Matthew Stafford was the quarterback. And I don't know why that is. Is it the receivers? A little bit. They have Diggs. Diggs is good. He's no Puka. I don't even think he's as good as Devontae Adams right now. Hunter Henry, yeah, he's pretty decent. Top 10 tight end, probably. Probably top 8, top 7, arguable for top 5. But he's not incredible. You got Booty, who I believe is a top 10 receiver in the league. Hot take. But is Matthew Stafford going to make that offense more dynamic? I mean, I'm not too sure of it. So I think the conversation for who should be MVP is a lot closer than people realize. Because if the true definition of who wins this award is who's more valuable to the team, the most valuable player, if Drake May can leave his team, or if Matthew Stafford can take over Drake May's team and not be as good, but Drake May can take over the Rams and be just as good as Matthew Stafford, wouldn't that make him the most valuable player? Wouldn't that make him the most valuable? I don't know, man. Just a thought. Just a little thought. But anyway, moving on. It's definitely fuck the Patriots. We're going to hope that they do not win 7 Super Bowls. Sorry, Justin, but you understand this is a business, okay? Competitiveness. You wouldn't want me rooting for the Patriots. That wouldn't even feel right. That's not what this is about, okay? I owe you me getting mad if the Patriots win, because I know that would feel great. I know it'd feel great if I were to see that out of you. So that's how I look at it. Sorry, getting out of touch here. Last thing I want to talk about today, just broke news that actually this isn't the last thing, just want to bring it up. Shedeur Sanders is going to go to the Pro Bowl. First-year rookie, first-year Pro Bowl. I mean, the Pro Bowl it's like they try to outdo themselves every year to try and discredit what the Pro Bowl actually means and try to make it even more of a joke. I don't really even have to say anything else than Shedeur Sanders is going to the Pro Bowl. And that's funny enough. I mean, talk about just an absolute waste of time and expenses to even have the Pro Bowl. It's just not a good time. They need to rethink the whole thing. They need to blow it up. They need to get some young, fresh minds on it. Fuck the flag football shit. This is tackle football, baby. Who wants to play? Who wants to fucking play? Give some insurance for some players. Hey, if you get injured playing for the Pro Bowl, fuck it. We'll cover the rest of your salary on your contract, whatever it may be. But let's make this fucking Pro Bowl thing good again, man. Because right now it's an absolute fucking disaster, and it kind of pisses me off. I'm going to leave it at that. Last thing we're going to talk about, being a Steeler fan, guys, 2 days removed from the announcement that we will hire Mike McCarthy as our new head coach. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. First reaction, absolutely underwhelming. I think most people can say that, most fans. It's the most underwhelming, it's the most Steeler move I've ever seen in my life. It's the equivalent to signing Aaron Rodgers last year as our QB, but in head coach form. If Aaron Rodgers does decide to come back, it'd be an absolute full circle moment. This is the same 2 guys that took us down in 2011 to stop us from getting our 7th Super Bowl. Now they will be on our side fighting for our 7th Super Bowl. It's Twilight Zone-esque. It's very disturbing, but this is the world we live in, where Mike McCarthy and potentially Aaron Rodgers will be leading the Steelers in the 2026 season. But like I said, initial thoughts, very underwhelming. Really was looking forward to possibly getting one of those young offensive guys that just comes in and just takes the team to the next level. Sean McVay guy, trying to take an apple off that McVay tree. Even a Shanahan will do. And I mean, that's kind of how we've always done it too. We've done it two ways. We've gotten young and defensive coaches. We completely scrapped that. We got an old offensive-minded coach. A couple days removed from it, from the initial, response in my head about it. And I got to say, the only upside that I think Mike McCarthy can bring is, one, he's an offensive mind. We'll get rid of Arthur Smith. I'm hoping we develop some sort of new style of offense. Yes, we're the Pittsburgh Steelers. We like to play football, shove it down your throat, run the ball, play good defense. And yeah, that worked when we had those guys, when we had that kind of mentality, when we had those dogs on our team in the 70s, obviously, and then also the early 2000s. It was beautiful. It actually worked. But we no longer have those assets. We no longer have that mentality. It's no longer that same league anymore. So I think getting a new revamped offense that's pretty exciting. I suppose I don't think it's going to be anything like Arthur Smith. I don't think we're going to be seeing 12 personnel where we have 3 tight ends and a tackle eligible, and that whole deal. I think we're moving past that, which is going to be exciting to see. Mike McCarthy also has been known to be very good with young quarterbacks and working with them and developing them. Hence, Aaron Rodgers worked with, I want to say Joe Montana or Steve Young. I might be crazy right there. There's another guy he worked with that was pretty good. But obviously, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, they had a good time. But just underwhelming. This is what Steelers football is right now, I guess. The biggest hope we can say is that he's able to come in, challenge Will Butler, develop him. If Aaron Rodgers comes back for a second season, that could be another season Will Butler has a chance to, why am I saying Will Butler? Will Howard. Best case scenario is he comes in, develops Will Howard. If Aaron Rodgers comes back for a second season, it wouldn't be the worst thing. He can sit underneath Aaron for another year. Him and McCarthy, they can either blend and mold and kind of help develop Will Howard, or Will Howard can sit back and see him bitch and moan and argue with each other and just see how it's not supposed to go. Who knows? But that's the biggest optimism that I have for this hire. Other than that, yeah, like I said, it's pretty much the exact equivalent of as signing Aaron Rodgers to our QB last year. So, anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Tbloom Talk Show. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, you can follow us at Tbloom Talk Show on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Give a like, show a comment, throw a comment, and don't be scared to tell somebody. So, I'm going to let you guys go. Tbloom Nation, thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time. Peace.